Hi there. I just did another small version update for the Troop Finances Tracker, so I thought I'd do a little video to show how I would suggest transferring your data if you're using an old version and now you want to go to the most recent version. So I'll start with giving a brief overview of my suggestions, and then I will do each one in detail in case you need a little bit more information. So on the Setup tab, it's really just a matter of copying and pasting the yellow sections. This one here and this column here. On the budget categories, I would actually copy and paste the entire sheet. Just copy everything and paste it all into the new one. You will lose this troop number, so you would have to then update that. On the transactions, it would just be a matter of copying and pasting the yellow parts. So the date, the balance, and all of your transactions. And then you will also have to either manually overwrite the formulas with your split group numbers, or you can copy and paste those as well. And then on the reimbursement forms and the deposit forms, if you've made any changes, I would suggest that you just find those piecemeal. If you do if you do a copy everything and paste everything like you did, like I'm suggesting on budget categories, you will lose all of these, the troop number, the treasurer information, that will all be gone and you'll have to set that all up again. So okay, so let's look in detail. And before we even do that, we need the new file. And for that one, we are going to, if you haven't already been prompted to make a copy, you'll have to open the blank one, File, Make a Copy, give it the name that you want it to have. And so I'll just give it my little made up name here. And okay, so now it's going to open up a new one that belongs, that just is a brand new one separate from my blank one. Okay, so first thing, we will start with the setup page. So I'm going to be on setup. I'm going to select this first yellow area. I'm going to do Control C on a Windows, or Option C, I think it's called, on a Mac, or you can also do Edit, Copy. All right, so I've copied that. I go to my new one. I go to the equivalent spot next to troop number here, the troop number there, and I do Control V. And pop that in there. All right, for this one, rather than picking just some of the yellow portions, I can pick the entire column, Control C to copy, click on the new one, Control V to paste. Now you'll notice, for example, this, I'm saying include this blank on the reimbursement form. No, we're going to fix that in just a minute. That will these categories will update themselves in just a minute, because we're going to go to budget categories next. So on our old one, we go over to budget categories, and this is where I'm suggesting you select everything. So that would either be Control A for select all, or what I sometimes like to do is I click this rectangle right here, and that selects everything as well. Then Control C to do a copy, go to your new one, make sure you're at the very top, Control V. And what happens though, you will notice one change. I used to have my troop number there, but it's looking for B9. And on my new one, it's looking for C9 because of I added a column, and it doesn't know, it doesn't have anything there. So we need to add that ourselves. Very easy. We're going to hit we're in this one. We hit equal sign. Then we click on the setup tab. Then we click on the cell that has the troop number in it, and then we hit enter. So we've essentially just typed in a formula, which is to show what's in the B15 cell of the setup page. All right, so now our budget is back where it needs to be. Next, we'll do the transactions. Okay, so the first one, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to my new one, go to transactions. Now notice right now this is on the left in the center, and when I paste, it's now on the bottom right. If you want it to match up and be pretty, you see how this thing popped up. I can do a down arrow and paste values only. And now it only adds in the number and not the formatting, which was down and to the right. Okay. Another way to do that, if I go back to my old one, Control C to copy. I go here, I click on this one. If you do Shift, Control, and V, then it only does the values. Shift, Control, V. Or you could also go Edit, Paste Special, Values Only. And there it is, Shift, Control, V. So, all right, now for the rest of these, you can select them with your mouse, but I always overshoot and then I spend my, and then I play the fun little game of select only what I want. So I almost always use Shift and maybe Control and my arrow keys. So I start at the top, I'm gonna use Shift to jump over with a Shift and then my right arrow key, sorry. And now for the next one, I'm gonna hold Shift and hold Control and do the down arrow, and it's gonna jump to the end of my list. So that's a nice time saver if you have a lot of transactions. Then Control C to copy, go to this one. I'm gonna click on here, edit, paste special, paste values only, or Control plus Shift plus V. Okay. Oh, and it didn't like this. It didn't like this. Okay, summer picnic. I changed one of the categories. Okay. So now one thing you notice here, the split group, you could just overwrite all of these by hand. Okay. But that could take a while and we don't want it to take that long. So we're going to go back to Troop Finances, the old one. I'm going to go to the end of my list, hold Shift, Control, go up, and now just hold Shift and go down a little bit so I just have the numbers. Again, you could select this with a mouse. I just like using the shortcut keys. Control C to copy. I go over here. I go in here. Control V. Now, notice it put them at the bottom. If I change this to values only, now this is also no longer a formula. It's also just dashes. So, and even if you didn't do values only, if you want to update this, because even if I had just left them the way they were as formulas, they are a little bit different than the new formula. The formula from the old one is a little different than the formula from the new one. So here's how you can update these to be the formulas, just in case you change, just so you have it clear. If you want to do this, you could also skip this. So first of all, use your filter to filter only the blanks or only the dashes. So I'm going to first do clear so that nothing is selected. Then I'm going to scroll down with my mouse, click on the dashes, and click on OK. And now I only have the transactions that are not split. I'm going to go into an empty row where the formula is good. It's the new one. I'm going to copy it, Control C. Then I'll go into each of these transactions, and for whatever reason, I couldn't pick them as a group, maybe because there's ones in between that are hidden, but it didn't like that. So anyway, in my case, there weren't a lot to do. It might take you a little bit longer. But now I know that I have the correct formula in every area. In case let's say I decide to add a row later and then I copy this row and paste it into the empty row, I want to make sure that this has the correct formula. All right, but now I want all of my rows back, so I'm going to click back on the filter. I go to select all. I use my mouse to scroll down or use the scroll bar, click on OK, and now I have all my transactions. And now this page is done. The only thing that might be left to do is if you updated these reimbursement forms at all, you would probably want to just do that piecemeal. Like maybe you copy this one because you changed the text, and so then you go into here and you paste it in there. Oh, and now it undid the merge when I did that. So I'm going to pick all those and remerge it. Okay. So that's just a piecemeal thing. If you do a Control All, then all of these, like here where it uses the troop number, this is going to be the wrong thing. This email is going to point to the wrong thing, and you'd have to redo all of those. So that's how you can transfer all the data. I hope that was helpful.